Ladies and gentlemen, listen closely, because today is not an ordinary day. Today is September 8th, and this day carries with it a frequency of vibration, an energy shift unlike anything you felt before. This is not just another date on the calendar. This is not just another sunrise. This is a portal, a once-in-a-lifetime opening. And if you lean in, if you truly listen with your body, your heart, your spirit, you can feel it. You can feel that something inside you is stirring. You can feel that change is not coming someday, it's here now. For too long, too many of us have been running on autopilot, living as if life is just a series of routines, a series of habits, a series of obligations. But September 8 rips that illusion apart. It's the day the universe is screaming at you, wake up, rise up, step into the life you were born to live. Because today's energy isn't asking you politely. It's demanding transformation. It's demanding that you let go of who you were yesterday so you can finally become who you're meant to be. Think about it. How many times have you felt like you were carrying weights, old stories, old doubts, old fears that have nothing to do with who you are anymore? That heavy voice that whispers, you're not enough. You'll never make it. You don't deserve it. That voice doesn't belong to you. That's not your soul talking. That's your prison guard. And today, September 8th, the walls of that prison crack open. But listen carefully, the shift doesn't do the work for you. Opportunity doesn't move your feet. Energy doesn't take action, do. This is the moment you decide, do I keep living small or do I step into the fire of change? Do I keep dragging the weight of my past or do I set it down and run free? Here's the truth, the universe is aligning right now for breakthroughs. The energy is amplifying your intention. If you think small today, you'll shrink. If you think bold, if you set fire to your vision, if you declare with every fiber of your being, this is my time, the shift will carry you higher than you've ever gone before. So I challenge you right here, right now, make a decision to no longer tolerate the old version of yourself, a decision to release the guilt, the shame, the hesitation, a decision to stop waiting for the perfect moment, because Teachese is the perfect moment. This day, September 8th, isn't just a date. It's destiny calling your name. It's your reminder that life doesn't change in decades. It changes in moments. One choice, one breakthrough, one courageous step. The energy is here. The shift is real. The only question left is this: will you rise with it? Because if you do, this won't just be a date you remember. This will be the day you became unstoppable. September 8 is not just a date. It's a cosmic alignment, a once-in-a-lifetime energy shift that demands you rise above the ordinary. This is not another random page in the calendar, not another sunrise that passes unnoticed. This is the day the air feels charged, where even if you can't explain it with words, you can feel something pulsing beneath the surface. It's that sensation in your chest that tells you life as you know it is about to change. The truth is, very few moments come in life when everything around you aligns with the deepest part of who you are, when the world outside matches the vibration of what your soul has been craving for years. This is one of those rare moments, a doorway between the life you've been tolerating and the life you were born to live. Think about how many times you've lived on autopilot, just repeating the same routines, dragging yourself from one day to the next, convincing yourself that someday you'll break free. Someday you'll feel different. Someday you'll finally do the thing you've been thinking about. And yet someday has never come, because someday is an illusion. The only time that has power is now. That's what this energy shift is screaming at you. It's telling you that waiting is over. The ground is shaking. The door is open. The fire is burning. And it's time to step into the extraordinary. This isn't about logic. This isn't about planning everything perfectly. This isn't about playing safe. Safe keeps you small. Safe keeps you in the shadows. Safe is the reason you've been hiding your brilliance, your strength, your creativity, your passion. September 8 cracks safe wide open. It's a cosmic interruption saying you can no longer cling to the old story. You can no longer afford to pretend you don't feel the pull. This energy shift is here to rip off the mask, to tear down the walls, to show you that the world will bend to the size of your vision if you dare to expand it. There's a reason this feels different. There's a reason your body responds when you think about the word shift. Deep down, you know you were not created to live a life of quiet struggle. You were not created to live in survival mode, doing the bare minimum, waiting for permission to shine. You were created to ignite. You were created to influence. You were created to be a force so strong that when you walk into a room, the energy rises because you walked in. This day is not just another chance. It's a call to finally live as that person. Ask yourself right now, what is the dream you've been postponing? What is the voice you've been ignoring? What is the passion you've been burying because it felt too big, too risky, too different? That dream is not random. That voice is not noise. That passion is your compass, your signal, your assignment. And today, the universe is aligning to give it momentum. You have to decide if you will step into it or keep pretending you don't hear the call. The ordinary will always try to hold you back. It will tell you that change is dangerous, that you should stay comfortable, that you should keep doing what everyone else is doing. But look around. Ordinary has never inspired anyone. Ordinary has never created breakthroughs. Ordinary is not what you were designed for. September 8 is a reminder that you were built for more. And the only thing separating you from that life is a choice. One decision, one moment of courage to say, enough. I will not settle for less than I'm capable of. I will not waste this shift. I will not let this energy pass me by while I shrink into the background. When you step into alignment with this energy, doors will open. Conversations will happen. Opportunities will appear that once felt impossible. And you'll realize they were never impossible. You were just not in the right state to see them. But today is different. Today is a magnifier and amplifier. Your thoughts are more powerful. Your intentions are more magnetic. Your actions carry more weight. This is why you cannot afford to think small, to hesitate, to doubt yourself. Doubt is the old frequency. Fear is the old cage. Step into this energy with clarity, with boldness, with unshakable certainty that your time is now. September 8 is not just a date, it's an activation. It's the universe holding up a mirror and asking, will you rise? Will you expand? Will you finally stop living as a fraction of who you are and step into the fullness of your potential? This isn't about luck. This isn't about waiting for someone else to hand you a chance. This is about recognizing the once in a lifetime frequency that surrounds you right now and deciding to move with it, deciding to become bigger than your excuses, deciding to embrace the extraordinary life that is pulling you forward. This shift is an invitation to release the weight of your past. Old fears, doubts, and limiting beliefs no longer have power here. For too long, you've been carrying bags that don't belong to you, bags filled with memories of mistakes, regrets, failures, and moments where you felt less than enough. These burdens have shaped the way you see yourself, the way you show up in the world, and the way you hold back when life offers you more. You've convinced yourself that your past is a reflection of your future. That because something didn't work out before, it won't work out again. But this energy that surrounds you today is here to prove you wrong. It's here to remind you that the chains you've been dragging are illusions, and illusions only hold power when you continue to believe in them. Every single fear you've ever carried was not placed there to stop you, but to test you. Every doubt you've wrestled with was not evidence that you're incapable, but a mirror showing you where you've been playing small. Every limiting belief you've rehearsed in your head, I'm not ready, I'm not worthy, I'm not strong enough, has been nothing more than an echo of the past, not a prophecy of your future. The energy shift happening right now is like a giant reset button, a force that says you no longer have to keep recycling the same story, the same patterns, the same results. This is your permission slip to set the baggage down, to breathe without the weight pressing against your chest, to move forward lighter, freer, and more alive than you've ever been. Think about what happens when you hold on to something heavy for too long. At first you can carry it. At first you can tolerate the weight. But as time goes on, it starts to drain you. It robs you of energy. It takes your focus away from everything else. That's what fear, doubt, and limiting beliefs have been doing to you for years. You've been carrying them so long that they've become familiar. And because they're familiar, they feel safe. But safe is not the same as true. Safe is not the same as freedom. Safe is not the same as alive. The shift that's happening right now is an invitation to put that weight down once and for all, to stop confusing the familiar with the necessary, and to step into a version of yourself that no longer defines life by what went wrong yesterday, but by what's possible today. You see, the past is not a prison, it's a lesson. But too many people confuse the two. They let the walls of their history become the walls of their future, and they lock themselves inside with stories like, this is just who I am, this is just how things are, this is just my fate. None of that is true. Who you are is not a fixed identity, it's a choice. How things are is not permanent. It's a reflection of what you've tolerated. Fate is not written. It's created by the actions you take and the beliefs you choose to embrace. This energy shift is a massive reminder that you don't have to keep reliving old chapters. You can take the lesson, thank the experience, and then release it so that your hands are free to write the next part of your story. Imagine what your life would feel like if you let go of the belief that you're not enough. Imagine the decisions you'd make if you stopped letting fear tell you to play it safe. Imagine the opportunities you'd create if you no longer listen to the voice of doubt that whispers, what if it doesn't work? That voice has cost you more than failure ever could. Because failure is feedback, but fear is paralysis. Failure teaches you how to grow, but doubt convinces you not to try it at all. Letting go of these old weights doesn't just free you, it expands you. It allows you to see options you couldn't see before, to feel energy you thought was gone forever, to connect with people and experiences that were invisible when you were staring at the floor instead of the horizon. This moment in time is not asking you to fight harder or hustle more. It's asking you to release. Release the old labels, release the outdated stories, release the belief that your best days are behind you. They're not. They're ahead of you. But you can't reach them if your hands are still full of yesterday's baggage. That's why this shift feels so powerful. It's not just about external change, it's about internal liberation. It's about cutting the cord to everything that no longer serves you so you can finally rise into everything that's been waiting for you. If you think about it, your past only exists in two places, in your memory and in your imagination. It is not physically here anymore. It's gone. Yet how many times have you relived the same painful moment in your mind over and over as if repeating it would somehow make sense of it? All it does is keep you trapped. You cannot build the future you crave while living inside the walls of your past. This energy shift is breaking those walls, but you have to be willing to walk through them. You have to be willing to say, that was then, this is now. That was who I was, but it is not who I am anymore. That was my story, but it's not the end of my book. But there's a lightness waiting for you on the other side of release. There's a freedom that comes when you realize you don't have to earn worthiness. You don't have to prove yourself to anyone. You don't have to hold on to pain to validate that it happened. You can acknowledge it, honor it, and then let it go. That's the gift of this moment. That's the reason this shift is happening now. You are being invited to step out of the shadow of your past and into the power of your present. Because when you release fear, doubt, and limiting beliefs, you don't just change how you feel, you change who you are becoming. Energy without action is wasted potential. This moment requires bold decisions, courageous choices, and unstoppable forward movement. The air around you can be charged with opportunity. The universe can align every frequency in your favor. The timing can be perfect. But if you do nothing, if you hesitate, if you stay in your head waiting for the right moment, you will miss it. Energy is the fuel, but action is the ignition. Without ignition, the fire never starts. Without action, all that power just sits dormant, like electricity waiting in a wire with no switch turned on. You've felt moments like this before when you knew deep inside that something was ready to shift. You felt the pull, you felt the inspiration, you felt the possibilities bubbling up, and yet you waited. You told yourself you'd act tomorrow, or when you felt more confident, or when the timing was better, or when the risk wasn't so high. And what happened? Tomorrow came and looked exactly like yesterday. That's the trap, believing that energy alone will change your life. Energy is the wave, but you have to be the surfer who jumps on and rides it. The wave doesn't carry the person who just stands on the shore admiring it. Right now, this moment is demanding that you stop delaying, stop overthinking, and start moving. Action doesn't have to mean you figure everything out today. It doesn't have to mean you have the perfect plan. It doesn't even mean you need to know the whole path ahead. Action means one step, one bold move, one decision that sets the wheels in motion. When you take that step, something incredible happens. The universe responds. People show up, resources appear, momentum builds. Opportunities that were invisible suddenly become clear because clarity doesn't come before action. It comes because of action. Courageous choices are rarely comfortable. They rarely feel safe. They almost always come with fear attached. But fear is not a stop sign, it's a signal. It's the proof you're on the edge of expansion, the edge of growth, the edge of something that will change you forever. When you feel that fear, instead of retreating, lean into it. Let it be the compass pointing you toward the decision that matters most. You'll never eliminate fear completely, but you can train yourself to act in spite of it, to use it as fuel rather than a barrier. That's what unstoppable forward movement looks like. Not waiting until fear disappears, but deciding you're bigger than fear, stronger than doubt, and more committed than hesitation. Think of any person you admire. Anyone who's achieved greatness, transformation, or impact, they didn't get there by sitting still in perfect alignment of energy alone. They took action, bold action, often without certainty, often without a safety net. They jumped when others stood frozen. They spoke when others stayed silent. They moved forward when others looked for excuses to stay behind. That's the difference between those who create lives that inspire and those who simply watch from the sidelines. This moment is asking you to choose which one you are. Potential is meaningless until it's activated. You could have unlimited talent, unlimited ideas, unlimited vision, but without action, it all fades into regret. That's why so many people carry around the pain of what if, because they knew the energy was there. They knew the chance was real, but they hesitated. And hesitation is the silent killer of dreams. The truth is, you don't need all the answers. You don't need to feel ready. You don't need certainty. What you need is movement, because movement creates momentum and momentum creates results. Once you start, even if you stumble, even if you make mistakes, you're still further ahead than the person who stood still. Bold decisions are not about being reckless. They're about alignment with your higher self. They're about asking, what is the life I want to create, and what choices align with that vision? Then having the guts to make those choices, even when they scare you. Sometimes the boldest decision is leaving behind what's familiar. Sometimes it's stepping into the unknown. Sometimes it's trusting yourself when nobody else understands. That's what courage looks like, not the absence of doubt, but the presence of conviction strong enough to move anyway. Every action you take right now is magnified by the energy around you. This is why hesitation costs more in moments like this. It's like planting seeds in fertile soil. The conditions are perfect. The ground is ready, but if you never put the seed in, nothing grows. Today is fertile soil. This energy shift is fertile soil. You can plant the seeds of a new reality, but the planting is action. No one else can do that for you. Unstoppable forward movement doesn't mean you'll never face obstacles. It doesn't mean the path will be smooth. It means you commit to progress no matter what. It means when resistance shows up, and it will, you keep going. When fear whispers, you act anyway. When doubt creeps in, you remember why you started. When setbacks happen, you adjust and keep moving. Unstoppable doesn't mean unchallenged. It means unbreakable. It means you've decided nothing is strong enough to pull you back into the old life you've outgrown. This moment right here is a crossroad. On one side is the familiar, safe, predictable, ordinary. On the other side is the unknown, uncomfortable, uncertain, but filled with possibility. Energy without action will keep you stuck at the crossroads, staring at both sides but walking nowhere. But bold decisions and courageous choices put you on the path of transformation. And once you start moving, you'll wonder why you ever waited so long. The truth is, the energy of this moment is not meant to comfort you. It's meant to push you. It's meant to ignite you, to shake you awake, to demand that you stop wasting your potential. You already know what needs to be done. You've already felt the nudge. You've already heard the whisper. The only thing left is to move, to act, to do the thing you've been resisting, because action is the bridge between the life you imagine and the life you live. Energy gives you the spark, but only action builds the fire. The universe amplifies whatever you focus on today. Think small and shrink. Think bold and expand beyond what you thought possible. Right now, the energy around you is magnifying everything you put your attention on, almost like a mirror that doubles, triples, multiplies whatever you feed it. If you feed it fear, the fear will grow. If you feed it hesitation, hesitation will expand. If you focus on problems, those problems will seem bigger, louder, heavier. But the same principle works the other way. If you choose to focus on solutions, opportunities, courage, and bold visions, those will multiply as well. The universe doesn't discriminate between what you want and what you don't want. It simply gives power to whatever you concentrate on. That's why this moment is so powerful and so dangerous at the same time. It can either magnify your limitations or it can magnify your possibilities, and the decision is entirely yours. Most people spend their days focusing on what they don't want. They think about their debt, their stress, their failures, their fears, and they wonder why those same things keep showing up. It's not because they're cursed. It's because they're using their most valuable resource, their focus, to feed the very things they want to escape. But there are others, the ones who step into greatness, who train themselves to focus differently. Instead of seeing obstacles, they see challenges that sharpen them. Instead of obsessing over fear, they feed their faith. Instead of staring at limitations, they keep their eyes on possibility. And what happens? Their lives expand, their results grow, their energy rises to match the vision they hold. That's the choice available to you right now in this energy shift. You can decide to think small, and smallness will surround you. Small goals, small opportunities, small breakthroughs, you'll shrink to fit the size of your thoughts. Or you can decide to think bold, to raise your standards so high that the old version of you could never imagine them. When you do, the universe has no choice but to expand with you. Boldness attracts expansion because it's aligned with growth, and growth is the natural rhythm of the universe. Nothing in nature is designed to stay small. A tree doesn't apologize for reaching toward the sky. A river doesn't hesitate to carve through mountains. The sun doesn't dim itself to avoid outshining the stars. Expansion is written into everything, and it's written into you. But here's the trap: bold thinking requires courage because it forces you to stretch beyond what feels safe. Thinking bold means you'll envision outcomes that seem impossible at first. It means daring to see yourself in places you've never been before, daring to create results that no one around you has achieved, daring to live a life so extraordinary that people may doubt you simply because they can't imagine it for themselves. That's why most people shrink. They don't want to be judged. They don't want to risk failure. They don't want to step into unknown territory. But shrinking doesn't protect you. It imprisons you. Every time you think small, you teach yourself to settle. And every time you settle, you reinforce a life that feels smaller than your potential. This energy shift is a wake-up call that says you cannot afford to keep shrinking. If you keep thinking small now, you'll feel it more intensely than ever. You'll feel stuck, frustrated, restless, like something inside you is screaming to break free, but you keep shutting it down. But if you dare to think bold, even if you don't know how it will happen, even if it scares you, this moment will multiply that boldness. It will open doors that were invisible before. It will connect you with people and resources you didn't know existed. It will place you in situations where the only option is to rise to the level of your vision. Think of the times in your life when you thought bigger than you ever had before. Maybe you decided to chase a goal that felt impossible at the time. Maybe you stepped into a situation that stretched you far beyond your comfort zone. Maybe you dared to believe in yourself when no one else did. What happened? Even if the path wasn't perfect, even if there were challenges along the way, life expanded to meet the size of your decision. That's not an accident. That's alignment. That's the principle at work right now on a massive scale. The universe is amplifying everything you focus on, which means smallness will shrink you, but boldness will transform you. So what does bold focus look like? It looks like holding your vision so clearly in your mind that nothing can distract you. It looks like waking up and deciding that no matter what happens, you will move toward expansion today. It looks like refusing to let the opinions of others dictate the size of your dreams. It looks like asking bigger questions, setting bigger goals, and demanding more from yourself than the bare minimum. Bold focus doesn't come from waiting until you feel ready. It comes from deciding that you're already enough to begin. It comes from claiming the future you want and choosing to live in alignment with it right now, not someday. The danger of small focus is that it tricks you into believing you're being practical when in reality, you're just being limited. People say things like, I just want to be realistic. But what they really mean is, I'm afraid to want too much because I might get disappointed. But disappointment is temporary. Regret is permanent. Being realistic has cost more dreams than failure ever could. Thinking small has robbed more people of their potential than any obstacle on the outside. That's why this energy shift is so crucial. Because right now, whatever you choose to magnify will grow at a pace you've never experienced before. The question is, will you choose to magnify fear or faith, scarcity or abundance, problems or possibilities? Will you allow yourself to think bold enough to scare you, bold enough to excite you, bold enough to make you come alive? Because that's what this moment is calling for. Smallness has no place here. Hesitation has no place here. The energy is too strong, the opportunity too rare, the amplification too powerful. This is not the time to play within the lines of what you've always known. This is the time to expand beyond what you thought possible and let the universe meet you there. September 8 is the day of transformation. Choose now to step into the highest version of yourself or risk being left behind by this powerful wave. Every once in a while, life delivers a moment that acts like a dividing line, a threshold where you either rise or you stay the same, where you either move into a new identity or remain stuck in the old one. That's what today is. It's not just another day on the calendar. It's a point of decision, a line in the sand. And the choice you make right now will echo louder than anything you've done before because the energy in this moment is magnified, intensified, accelerated. Transformation doesn't happen gradually over decades. It happens in moments like this when you say yes to a new identity and no to everything that has held you back. Think about the highest version of yourself for a moment. That version is not worried about fear, not tied down by old stories, not limited by what other people think. That version walks with certainty, speaks with conviction, and lives with purpose. That version doesn't procrastinate, doesn't apologize for being bold, doesn't play small just to make others comfortable. That version is already inside you, waiting for permission to emerge. And September 8 is the day the door swings open, the day the energy supports you stepping into that identity fully and unapologetically. But the universe won't drag you through the door. You have to walk through it. You have to decide that today is the day you no longer negotiate with your greatness. Transformation doesn't come from wishing. It doesn't come from hoping things will change. It comes from deciding to change and following that decision with action. This moment is not about waiting for a sign. You are the sign. The shift in energy that's here today is not some external gift. It's a reflection of what's awakening inside you. You feel it in your body. You sense it in your gut. You know it in your soul. You are being called to step into more. And yet, with every call comes resistance. The old version of you will fight to stay alive. It will whisper doubts. It will remind you of past failures. It will tempt you with comfort and familiarity. But comfort is not your destiny. Familiarity is not your purpose. They are traps designed to keep you from transformation. If you ignore this call, if you choose to stay where you are, the energy will not stop moving. The wave of transformation will still roll forward, but you will be left standing on the shore watching it pass you by. That's the risk of hesitation in moments like this. Life doesn't wait for your permission to move. Energy doesn't slow down to match your fears. Transformation will happen with or without you, and the only question is whether you'll ride the wave or be left behind by it. This is why indecision is so dangerous. When you hesitate, you think you're keeping your options open, but really, you're just letting opportunity slip away. The highest version of yourself is bold enough to choose now. It doesn't wait for everything to make sense. It doesn't demand proof. It doesn't bargain with doubt. It declares, it commits, it claims the future before it exists. That's what transformation requires. Faith that your vision is more real than your fear. If you can see it in your mind, you can bring it into your life. If you can feel it in your heart, you can live it in reality. But you have to choose it. Nobody can choose it for you. Nobody can hand you transformation wrapped neatly with a bow. It comes from within, from the courage to let go of who you've been so you can fully embody who you're meant to be. Transformation is not about fixing what's broken. It's about releasing what no longer fits. It's about shedding old layers, old habits, old identities that once kept you safe but now keep you small. It's about breaking the agreements you made with fear and forging new agreements with power, with love, with purpose. It's about refusing to let the old script dictate your new story. You don't transform by adding more things, more titles, more distractions. You transform by stripping away what's false until only the truth of who you really are remains. This moment right now is filled with energy that accelerates everything. If you step into your highest self, that energy will push you forward faster than ever. But if you stay stuck in old patterns, that same energy will make you feel more trapped than ever. That's why this day is so significant. It magnifies whatever you choose. The wave doesn't judge whether you ride it or not, it just moves. And once it moves, you can't call it back. So the real question you need to ask yourself is this: what version of you will step forward today? The version that clings to fear, doubt, hesitation, and old limitations. Or the version that says enough is enough, I was born for more, I will not let another day go by without living as the person I was created to be. That's the choice. That's the decision. That's the transformation. The highest version of you is not a fantasy. It's not out of reach. It's here, right now in this moment. You can feel it pressing against your chest, pulling you forward, demanding to be unleashed. All you have to do is say yes. All you have to do is stop postponing the life you want to live. All you have to do is make the choice that this is the day you rise, the day you transform, the day you stop waiting and start becoming.